In the wild frontier, law ends when fear begins. That's the brutal world Travis Mills drops us into with Frontier Crucible, a 2025 Western thriller that stakes its claim in a genre long dominated by myth, but increasingly craving grit and moral complexity. Mills, known for his taut storytelling and a knack for tension, teams up with writers Harry Whittington and S. Craig Zahler to craft a story that's as much about survival as it is about the blurred lines between heroism and desperation. This film doesn't just revisit the Old West. It throws us into the crucible of fear, violence, and uneasy alliances. With a cast led by Miles Clohessy and supported by heavy hitters like Armie Hammer and William H. Macy, Frontier Crucible promises a visceral, character-driven journey that pushes Western conventions into thriller territory. Let's break down why this film matters and what it brings to a crowded genre. Frontier Crucible's premise is straightforward but loaded with tension. A wagon loaded with desperately needed medical supplies is ambushed by an Apache attack in 1870s Arizona Parapory. Our only hope is Merrick Beckford, a guide forced to team up with three dangerous outlaws to get the supplies through hostile lands. This setup positions the film squarely in Western thriller territory, blending survival drama with the moral ambiguity of outlaw figures. Released in 2025 to a marketplace hungry for genre hybrids, it rides the wave of films that fuse classic Western motifs with modern pacing and psychological intensity. It's not a sequel or reboot, but an original story that nods to the harsh realities and mythic storytelling of the genre. This film slots neatly alongside recent Westerns that emphasize character stakes over spectacle, but with a tense, survivalist edge that thriller fans will appreciate. Travis Mills' direction here is crucial. Known for his lean, atmospheric storytelling, Mills tends to frame his narratives with an unflinching eye, using composition to heighten unease and claustrophobia, even in the open landscapes of the West. You can expect a visual style that balances the sweeping vistas typical of Westerns with tight, intimate shots that underscore the character's desperation. The color palette likely leans into dusty earth tones, evoking both the beauty and brutality of the frontier. Camera movement probably shifts from steady, contemplative tracking during moments of calm to shaky, handheld work as tensions snap, mirroring the character's fraying nerves. Editing rhythm will likely be deliberate, stretching out moments of silence just long enough to make the sudden bursts of violence or confrontation hit harder. Mills's approach to action tends to avoid flashy choreography, favoring grounded, brutal realism that serves the story's stakes. The film's tension and drama hinge on this visual and directional synergy, where every frame seems to carry weight. Action isn't just spectacle here. It's a matter of survival, and Mills' style often makes you feel the raw physicality and emotional cost of violence. The Apache attacks and outlaw confrontations seem designed to be visceral, unglamorous, and relentless. This isn't a romanticized West. It's a crucible where fear drives every decision. The director's knack for pacing means the film likely alternates between slow-building dread and sudden, sharp bursts of chaos, keeping audiences on edge without exhausting them. This balance is what makes Frontier Crucible stand out in a genre where action sometimes overwhelms character. Here, tension is cultivated through atmosphere and character dynamics, not just gunfights. Turning to the cast, Miles Clohessy as Merrick Beckford is an inspired choice. Clohessy brings a quiet intensity and a weathered toughness that suits a character caught between duty and survival. His ability to convey internal conflict without heavy exposition is likely key to grounding the film's moral ambiguity. Mary Stickley, Armie Hammer, and William H. Macy round out the ensemble, each bringing their own brand of gravitas and nuance. Hammer's recent work shows he can balance charm with menace, which fits perfectly with an outlaw role. Macy's presence usually guarantees a complex, layered performance, someone who can embody the worn-down survivor or reluctant leader archetype. The chemistry among this group seems designed to explore uneasy alliances, where trust is scarce and betrayal is a constant threat. Early buzz suggests the ensemble delivers a compelling mix of tension and camaraderie that drives the film's emotional core. The supporting cast, including Thomas Jane and Eddie Spears, adds further depth, likely representing different facets of frontier life and the collision of cultures in this harsh environment. Their performances probably emphasize authenticity over showmanship, reinforcing the film's grounded tone. Given the premise's focus on survival and conflict with Apache forces, performances here will have to navigate sensitive portrayals of cultural tensions without resorting to stereotypes. The ensemble's combined experience in drama and thriller genres primes them to deliver nuanced performances that elevate the script's moral complexity. Overall, the cast's strength lies in their ability to embody flawed, driven characters forced into impossible situations, a cornerstone of any effective Western thriller. Looking at the writing, the collaboration between Harry Whittington and S. Craig Zahler signals a script that balances taut thriller beats with Western grit. Whittington's background in pulpy, suspenseful stories, combined with Zahler's reputation for dark, character-driven narratives, suggests a screenplay that doesn't shy away from moral ambiguity or brutal consequences. The structure likely unfolds as a tense journey, where each mile traveled brings new dangers and reveals more about the character's motivations and fears. Themes of survival, trust, and the cost of violence are probably front and center, with the film exploring how desperation can push people to the edge of their humanity. Based on the premise, the narrative might also delve into the fraught relationship between settlers and Native American tribes, though likely filtered through a survival thriller lens rather than a purely historical one. The script seems poised to emphasize character dynamics over convoluted plotting, making the outlaws and guides' uneasy alliance the emotional heartbeat. The accidental killing of an Apache scout, hinted at in the synopsis, acts as a catalyst that shatters any fragile peace and escalates the stakes. This incident likely serves as a moral fulcrum for the story, forcing characters to reckon with consequences beyond their control. The writing probably balances moments of quiet reflection with sudden bursts of violence, maintaining a tight narrative rhythm that keeps the tension taut throughout its 125-minute runtime. The film appears to lean into themes of fear, survival, and the thin line between lawlessness and order, classic Western motifs reinterpreted through a thriller's lens. While Frontier Crucible is a standalone film, it sits within a broader wave of Westerns that blend genre elements. Think Hell or High Water or The Revenant in tone, with the survivalist edge of a thriller like Wind. River. It doesn't rely on the spectacle of large-scale heists or bombastic twists, but instead offers a grounded, character-focused narrative. Compared to traditional Westerns, this film likely prioritizes psychological tension and moral complexity over clear-cut heroism. For audiences familiar with genre hybrids, it's less about stylized showmanship and more about raw, visceral storytelling. In that sense, it offers a different flavor than the flashy, puzzle-driven heist films or the slow-burn, dialogue-heavy Westerns. It stakes its ground in gritty realism and emotional stakes, asking viewers to reckon with the harshness of frontier life and the price of survival. The thriller component pushes Frontier Crucible into tense, claustrophobic territory, despite its open setting, aligning it with films that use environment as a pressure cooker for character drama. Audiences expecting a traditional Western might find the film's darker tone and moral ambiguity challenging, but those drawn to tense character studies with moments of intense action will find much to appreciate. The film's positioning in the 2025 landscape shows a continuing trend toward genre blending that respects its roots while pushing boundaries. Its mix of Western aesthetics with thriller pacing and themes broadens the audience appeal, but demands a certain patience and attention to character detail. Who is this film for? Frontier Crucible will resonate most with viewers who appreciate Westerns that embrace complexity and tension over nostalgia. Fans of character-driven thrillers with strong ensemble casts will find the film's mood and performances compelling. Those expecting a straightforward shoot-'em-up Western or a high-concept heist thriller might find the pacing deliberate and the moral ambiguity unsettling. The film's strengths lie in its direction, grounded performances, and thematic depth. Potential weaknesses could include its reliance on familiar Western tropes or a narrative that demands engagement with uncomfortable cultural dynamics. For those willing to engage with its layered storytelling and tense atmosphere, It's a worthy addition to the modern Western thriller hybrid. In conclusion, Frontier Crucible is a film that stakes its claim through a meticulous balance of tension, atmosphere, and moral complexity. It's a survival story wrapped in the trappings of the Western genre, but sharpened by a thriller's edge. Travis Mills's direction, combined with a strong cast and a script that doesn't flinch from the brutality of its setting, crafts a narrative that demands attention. It's not for casual viewers looking for easy entertainment, but for those invested in character-driven stories where fear and desperation drive every choice. It's a compelling watch. The film's slow burn and thematic weight may not please everyone, but it carves out a distinctive space in the 2025 genre landscape. So, in the untamed wilderness of frontier storytelling, Frontier Crucible reminds us that when fear takes hold, law is just a fragile memory. If you're ready to sit with that tension and see how far desperation can push people, this film offers a raw, immersive experience worth your time. Thanks for watching Cut to Reel, where we dig deep into the craft behind the stories you love. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp and your reels rolling. Thanks for watching Cut to Reel. I'll see you next time for another look beneath the surface of cinema's best.